the bigger the warfare, the heavier the storm, the heavier the pain has been throughout your lifetime, the more warfare that you have had to suffer, overcome, and endure, the bigger the calling on your life, the more that God has for you to handle. And that's the reason why you got to go through such painful situations, things that don't make sense, things that drill you, and drill you until you have no choice but to change. You have no choice but to feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helps you grow. The pain, the situations, the more painful situations you've been in, the bigger the calling is on your life. I never used to understand why me. I used to be like, why me? Because I even had to text my dad, like, even in my 30s, like, was I a bad kid or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, no, you just like to, he said you was a jolly kid and you loved to play with Barbie dolls. That was it. Like, I was the black sheep of my family, so I just went through so much. So I was coming to God at an early age. I started coming to God at 10 years old. I actually remember writing my first letter to God at 10 years old. So, you know, the pain and the warfare that I suffered, you know, from being a black sheep of the family and from how I was being treated, you know, in my childhood. I mean, even like the warfare started with, the enemy started sending people to my life at an early age. I was 14 years old in a relationship, getting knocked out, and nobody knew. My family didn't know. I used to have to have bruises. Wear turtlenecks to school when it's warm outside because I got bruises on my neck because my boyfriend had choked me. I'm only 14 years old. So I didn't been through a lot of spiritual warfare, and I didn't realize while I was going through it, it was like, because one thing about it, when you're a chosen person or when God has you for a purpose, the enemy also knows it. The enemy knows it. And so the enemy, I noticed that sometimes I would get in relationships that were always, you know, be what I would want as far as like a man, like a provider and this and that, but then there'll always be something off in those situations. And because the enemy has seen you enough comfort to make you okay with a situation that's not okay. Okay, and that's one thing I had to realize. But one thing I do know is that all of the suffering, all of the hurt that you go through as a black sheep or as a lost child or a lonely soul is literally for God. God is prepping you for a big life. And I know it sounds crazy because it's very hard to go through. It's so hard to endure it. I've been through it. I know you know, the wind blowing. It's like confirmation. But the thing about it is because God does have a plan for your life and the enemy just knows about it, okay? When he put you in your mother's womb, he already marked you. He already knew who you was going to be. He already knew what you were going to be. The thing is, when people say, well, if God created this and that, then why would he even make bad if he already knew what you was going to do this and that? No, the saying is he knew what you was going to do because he created you for a purpose. So he created you to do that. But he gave us free will, which means that we have to want to do that. So when people make evil decisions, that's on them. It's not on God. People choose to be evil. And the enemy also uses people. So for me, he used family members. He used relationships and things like that to keep me broken, keep me lost, keep me stuck, keep me down. Because if I stayed in those storms, if I stayed in battleship, if I stayed in survivorship, then I would never really fully have the energy to find my purpose, right? So this is when you knock the devil out and you defeat the man by saying, nope, I'm turning to God. I'm going to wait on God to give me the answers. I'm not going to try to figure this out on my own because God said, lean not to your own understanding. I'm going to wait on God to give me my breakthrough. And I'm not going to give up. Because guess what? I almost gave up at 16 years old. I took 24 pills at 16 years old. I didn't die. I slept for 24 hours. Like, this was because of some heartbreak. This was because of the mental abuse I was getting at home. This was just everything. I couldn't take it. I was only 16. It was too much on me. My life has been too heavy, right? And the enemy knew that. He was banking on me staying down. He was banking on me staying hurt. And one day I would off myself and I would never make it to my destiny. But guess what? I turned to God. I didn't turn to believe in, you know, just sitting in it like, oh, this is just my life. Some people say this is just my life and they accept it. I didn't accept it. I don't accept it. I don't accept anything that the enemy has for me. I accept everything that God has for me. So I had to fight my way through, and you fight your way through it by continuing your relationship with God, by growing your relationship with God, by staying in close connection with God. The things that's not of God, get away from them and don't touch them, okay? Continue to secure your relationship with God because he is going to get you to your destiny, okay? And the enemy cannot win over God. The enemy can only win if you let him and if you give up, okay? So I'm rooting for you. I know who this is for. I know you've been going through it. You've been going through it for a long time. You tired. You tired. You ready to win this war. And you close. You got this. Keep going. God loves you. Bye.